you surprised you were able to find that much speed in qualifying?
You know, not really. The team has done a really good job, especially on mile and a halves, of getting me better on Saturdays. You know, I don't just, you just got a Chris Gabehart versus Chris Gale difference. Like, you know, I know Saturdays with Gabehart really struggles in, and we always just kind of, we knew Sunday we were going to be great, and Saturdays, like I talked about, we tried to put Band-Aids on it, but sometimes it wasn't enough. And, you know, Chris Gale was always qualifying really, really well with Ty Gibbs, and I thought, you know, some of that new philosophy is something that maybe we could work off of, and because I thought that Saturdays were my weakness. Certainly statistically something I needed to improve, is especially qualifying. And so I think we've gotten that better this year, and we haven't really sacrificed any race pace for it. So I think probably Chris Gale gets the bulk of the credit.
What do you expect now with other leagues of difference now to that?
I just expect it'll be different. Like the car will drive dramatically different tomorrow than today.
What is Zach and Dustin?
Zach Straniello, NASCAR.com. Denny, are there any changes you can make to the car overnight or ahead of tomorrow's race to prepare for what you expect the racetrack to do?
Well, we know we're in a box when we get here, so we know that, you know, the big stuff, the big components, you got to set for Sunday on Friday or Thursday, whatever you leave. So we know that our setup is not optimized for today's conditions, track and whatnot, because we know that we only got small things that we can tune for tomorrow before the race in the garage. And so we get the bulk of the stuff that we need, and then those small things we can change, we do adjust for Saturday versus Sunday.
Is this a case of you guys can, like you'll know within the first 10 laps of tomorrow's race whether or not you have what you need, or is this something where it's going to be over the course of the race?
Man, I usually am pretty confident in saying that I'll know that soon. At some point in the first stage, I'll know. I don't know. First 10 might be a little bit ambitious, but just because I think this track just changes so much.
Thank you.
Go to Dustin. Dustin, did you? No? Okay, we'll come up to Jerry.
Happened.
Yeah, no.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires like that. I ran off time earlier. Tech question. I was curious. Any thoughts on the settlement conference that was ordered earlier this week?
No, no thoughts, and appreciate Judge Bell asserting himself in there and volunteering himself as being the judicial officer that was asked for.
To Jeff, go for it.
So, I mean, just reading between the lines, because you said, even though, you're going to make adjustments, that you're not too worried about being able to do that, for a long run. I mean, does it seem like, with what you can tell so far, you guys have backed up the speed you got at Kansas in terms of what you loaded with? It seems like you guys and Hendrick, and there's other Toyotas, obviously, at Penske. That's what it seems like at the surface. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say. I don't know the ranking. I haven't seen even a practice sheet. I don't know where we even were. I don't know where the competition is. I haven't looked at any. Again, my focus, as soon as I get out of the car, is tell them what I need for qualifying in the short run. Like, I haven't even reviewed this. I've reviewed nothing. Like, I will do that as soon as I leave here. So I can't really tell you that, yes, it correlates, but certainly it seems as though you can't ignore that when our pedals all the way down, it seemed like the Toyotas were pretty strong there. So I hope it correlates. And again, we have the same tire. It's who's going to adapt the best tomorrow. That's going to be really the one to beat.
Under the back.
Noah Reed, West Coast Sports News. Denny, this is your 47th career Cup Series pole. You're now 11th all time. How cool is it to hit this milestone?
Yeah, it's great. I never really considered myself a qualifier. Here in the last few years, I feel like we've kind of revamped that a little bit. But it's just, my ability to continue to learn and learn from others that are significantly better than me at it. So 47 is a lot. I know there for a while it was kind of hanging around to where it was like the winds and the poles were about the same, but it's like the winds actually started taking over more than the poles have. So I'd like to keep them fairly even. I need a lot more poles to do it though.
Additional questions? We'll come up here.
Hey Denny, Josh Peter with USA Today. Did you ever have any concerns or anyone ever express concerns about you being a team owner could be detrimental to your driving, and how have you kept that from happening?
Tim Leiter.
Well, I think it was a thought early on. You know, again, when I started the team, it was earlier than I expected that I was going to do it, but I guess fortunately for me, the stars aligned like right when they did during COVID. And then, yeah, up until just a few weeks ago, it's been pretty smooth sailing on, you know, balancing the two. But you know, we knew that there would be challenges. There was, well, I think a few years ago, heading into the regular season finale, when the question was asked, you got to push your teammate, you got to push the cars that you own. You know, my answer was a bit controversial there, but you know, I thought it was important to kind of, you know, lay that out. That way, no one's, you know, if I did do something that I want to make sure everyone knew what to expect in case it did come up. And so I think that these are the fine line things that you do balance, but I mean, I'm certain that I'm certain I've cost myself more victories by giving them free information than I have taken from them. So again, their long-term success is my future. But you know, I know every time that I open my mouth and show them things that I think would help them, that there's a really good chance that they're going to use that to beat me with it.
Additional questions? Okay, we'll come back up to Bob, and then we'll go to Nick.
You've got a speeding penalty here to describe into several others. Is there something about this pit road or anything that tends to lend itself to making it tougher to come speed?
I don't recall. I know I had a bad pit stop in the first stage that we lost the time track position. I think I might have spit you right. I did end up in the back of the pack at some point pretty early. The only thing that makes it difficult, it's truthfully, it's not a, if you try to run the speed limit, it's not a difficult pit road. But we're always trying to find all the edges that we can. At the beginning of pit road, this pit road is curved. And anywhere there's a curve in a NASCAR pit lane, that's a place that you can cheat the system, and you try to do it to the best of your ability, and sometimes you get buzzed.
Go ahead.
Brian Twining, Bedford's Media Group, right down the middle, Denny. With Talladega on deck, are you expecting teams to be willing to throw Hail Marys or actually play it a little bit safer, trying to maximize points, not having to go to Talladega with the worry of needing to win there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be 7 or 8 of us that are worried about points, and there's going to be 30 that do not care. That's always the beauty of Talladega in the fall, is that there's so many different agendas when it comes down to it. You know, I haven't even looked at the trends, wrecks and where they start and things like that I will look at next week. But generally speaking, this is the fall Talladega is where you're going to see a lot of manufacturer teammate stuff going on, even more than a normal super speedway race, because you'll have, you know, certainly everyone from Ford, Chevy, you know, and Toyota saying, you know, these are our cars that we need, make sure we're pushing these cars, right? And so it's just a weird balance, and sometimes you see wacky races.
Any final questions?
Yeah, I think I still reading at OEM manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's manipulation other than just like try to help these guys as much as possible. And I mean, that's been going on for about 10 years now, and so I just don't think there's any way to stop that. I mean, everyone's going to be game planning this week on when are we going to pit. We're going to do it together, and we're going to try to stop others from passing us. So it's just, that's racing. Yeah.
So you guys like to take one.
There, the station is, so.
It's quite good.
Along those lines, after Kansas, did you or any of the other Toyota drivers hear from Toyota asking why didn't you guys close that out?
I did not, no. I think they kind of understood and knew it was a touchy situation. I think they do a really good job of like kind of staying out of that stuff. To be honest with you, I can't remember the last time, and I talked about manufacturers and stuff next week. Hand on the Bible, I can't say the last time Toyota told us to do anything. They stay out of that. They try to let us teams figure it out, let the drivers figure it out. Their job is to provide fast engines and all the information that we need to go fast. So situations, especially like what we had in Kansas, yeah, they'll wipe their hands clean of that. They don't want any parts.